Good morning, everyone. My name is Dana McCoy, and I study early childhood development. And because of that, I'm a big believer in play-based learning, and so I'd like to start today by actually playing a game with all of you. I've never played a game with 700 people, so we'll see how this goes. To do the game, I need everyone to get your pointer fingers ready, please. Place them on your knees, and then go ahead and look up at one of the two screens. Okay. So we're going to start by playing the hearts game. You're going to see a heart appear on the screen, and when you see a heart, you're going to tap on the same side that the heart appears. Okay, so for example, if a heart appears on the left side of the screen, you're going to tap your left knee. Everybody got it? Okay, pretty simple. Now go as fast as you can. All right, ready? All right, pretty easy, right? Okay, so now we're going to play the flowers game. You're going to see a flower appear on the screen, and when a flower appears, you're going to tap on the opposite side. Okay, so if a flower appears on the left, you're going to tap on your right knee. All right, remember, go as fast as you can. Okay, still not too bad, but now comes the fun part. Now we're going to play the hearts and the flowers game. So you're sometimes going to see a heart, and sometimes you're going to see a flower. But the rules are exactly the same. When you see a heart, you tap on the same side. And when you see a flower, you tap on the opposite side. Remember, go as fast as you can, but you need to be as accurate as possible. Okay? Ready? Go. Okay, so that was a little tougher. A little tougher. Now imagine doing that if you're 4, right? Even harder. Okay, so why was that hard? Why was the hearts and flowers task hard? The reason that it was hard is because this is a game that is challenging your executive function. An executive function is like the brain's air traffic control system. Okay? It helps you to attend to information, manipulate it, respond to it in order to achieve a particular goal. An executive function has 3 components. First component is working memory, which is the ability to remember and manipulate information over a short period of time. So for example, the ability to remember the rules of the hearts game and the flowers game. The second is inhibitory control, which is the ability to avoid impulsive reactions and instead to enact more intentional reactions. So when you're playing the hearts and flowers game, your impulse when you see a flower may be to tap on the same side, right? But you have to avoid that impulse in order to follow the rules. The third component is set shifting. So this is the ability to shift your attention from one thing to another seamlessly. So for example, the ability to shift your attention from playing this really fun hearts and flowers game to listen to me drone on and on about technical definitions of executive function. So why does this matter? Why does executive function matter? Why should we care about it? Why should we study it? One of the reasons is that early executive function skills, so kids' ability to deploy these types of skills when they're very young, has been shown to predict a number of later life outcomes. So kids with good, strong executive function skills end up having higher academic achievement, being more likely to graduate on time. They show greater physical and mental health, greater economic earnings, reduced violence and incarceration rates. Importantly, we see that these links between executive function and later life outcomes to be stronger than the links between IQ and later outcomes. And unlike IQ, we can actually teach executive function. Just like we can teach math and reading, we can actually improve kids' skills in executive function through school-based program. So this is exactly what my colleagues and I are trying to do. We are evaluating a program called Programa Compasso, or the COMPASS program, in a set of 90 schools in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. So Programa Compasso includes 3 components. The first and the largest component is a set of weekly lessons that are implemented by classroom teachers to children to support their executive function skills, as well as a number of other social, emotional, and non-academic skills, like empathy or social problem solving, conflict resolution, the ability to identify emotions in yourself and in others. A second component is a training for teachers that not only helps them to implement this program, but also helps them to manage their own stress and improve their own executive function skills. And a final component is an SMS or cell phone-based program where we deliver audio and video messages to parents to teach them about executive function and social emotional skills, and to give them ideas of activities that they can use with their own children, and hopefully create greater continuity in the expectations for behavior across home and school contexts. So we started a study of Programa Compasso last March in 2017, and we implemented it in 90 schools in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Half of those schools are receiving the Programa Compasso package, and half of them were randomly assigned to a control condition. Brazil is a really interesting context for doing this type of work. First of all, there are very few evaluations that have looked at social emotional programming outside of the United States. To our knowledge, this is actually the biggest to be ever done in a low and middle income country. And Brazil in particular has a number of both challenges and strengths. On the one hand, Brazil has an extraordinarily comprehensive and progressive set of social policies for young children. They have universal preschool and are moving towards universal childcare for 0 to 3 that is publicly provided. They have conditional cash transfer programs for low-income families to support their social and economic well-being. On the other hand, Brazil and Rio de Janeiro in particular are facing a number of social challenges, including economic instability and inequity, as well as broad-scale political unrest. And these factors have unfortunately translated into unprecedented levels of community violence. And this violence not only has direct impacts on kids who are witnessing and being victimized by these crimes, but also has indirect effects on them through limiting their engagement in positive resources in their communities, and also affecting their schools. Schools are being closed in Rio as a result of this violence, and making it much more difficult for us to deliver our intervention to kids. So within this context, we have a number of different research questions which we're actively pursuing and analyzing. The first and probably the most important research question, not surprisingly, is does Programa Compasso work? Does it improve children's social and emotional outcomes? And fortunately, we are seeing, at least preliminarily, that yes, it does. So children in the Programa Compasso schools, relative to their control group peers, report higher perceived school safety. Their teachers are reporting them as having lower levels of peer and conduct problems. And perhaps most relevant to our conversation, they see statistically significant improvements in executive function as measured by none other than the Hearts and Flowers task that all of you just took. So we're not going to stop there. We have a number of other questions that we're actively pursuing. One of them is, do these improvements in social and emotional abilities translate into improvements in learning and attendance? How is this program affecting teachers? Are we promoting teachers' well-being? Are there children or families or communities for whom this intervention is more impactful or less impactful? And how do we amend the program or improve it to make sure that it's providing equitable services for all children? And then finally, and perhaps most importantly, how do we bring programs like Programa Compasso to scale so that they're not only benefiting kids in Rio de Janeiro, but they're benefiting children all around Brazil and all around the world? So I will end there. I just want to say welcome to HGSE. I'm really looking forward to getting to know all of you, to learning with you, learning from you, playing with you, and perhaps most importantly, answering some of these really pressing social questions and educational questions with you over the next 9 months and beyond. Thank you.